Hi everyone, so for today's video I asked on Twitter a couple of days ago. I made like a little poll and said what video would you like me to make next. Acting, promo work, drama school experience or tips for living in London, and everyone chose the drama school experience story. So this will be a long video, hopefully not. I made some notes on my phone to try and keep it to the point, keep it to the bullet points that I want to get across. I've been nervous about making this video. I haven't been sure if I've wanted to or not, but you know, it's my opinion, so I want to strongly advise before I even start that this is my opinion and my feelings and my experience of what happened at drama school. It may be different to others. Some people might feel the same. Even in other drama schools they might feel the same or what, but this is what my story is and that's all that matters, I guess. So getting started, basically in 2016, the good old college days, we heard from one of my friends that there was a drama school called Cogan Academy of Dramatic Arts, or Science of Acting, in London, that someone in the year above actually was already going to. So 2 people in my class auditioned for and actually got in, one of which was Damien. So at first I wasn't going to audition because I didn't want to follow Damien to the same place, same thing. I didn't want to make it look as if I was just going after it for him. But at the same time I had auditioned for a few different drama schools in London that didn't work out, so I thought, well, why not? They've already taken 2 people in my class, why not another one? So in August, I think it was, 2016, I went for my audition. So the drama school is in North London and I went, had my audition. Basically they take you a tour around the school and they show you the different rooms and props and whatever. That's done by the VP at the time, the Vice Student President. Then you go in for your audition and it's filmed by one of the current students that go to the drama school. So I went in and you had to do a song, a monologue and a fable, I think it was. So I did my Trainspotting monologue, There Are Worse Things, and I think it was an Aesop's fable, I'm not sure, but did those. And then the lecturer asks you different questions, like why are you wanting to go to Cogan, about acting, things like that. Then they get you to act out some things for them and try different tasks, I guess. So I did that. So first I wasn't really sure how it went. It was kind of awkward, but I gave it my all, so I didn't know. Like you do in auditions, you never know. So I went home and then a couple of days later I got the acceptance letter. I'd been accepted for the 3-year BA course, so I thought, yes, this is it, amazing, I'm going to London, I'm gonna go to drama school, there's the West End on my doorstep, this is it, this is already my dream come true, fuck it, I'm going to drama school already, and I get to do it with Damien, and it was going to be amazing. So we moved down and the course started in September, and you get your timetable and you find out what your classes are. So yeah, you had typical drama school classes. You had your ballet, your jazz, you had stage combat, but in this particular school you had yoga every morning followed by a voice warm-up, and you also had theory classes as well. So I did enjoy all the classes that outside teachers came in to teach. So for like jazz or ballet, or for voice, we had great teachers that came in and taught you a lot of skills that you can use, but also would talk to you about using it in the outside world. Because I guess you're going to drama school to learn a technique, learn skills that can be applied when you leave, like in auditions, when you leave, when you try to find work. However, this particular drama school was very, in my opinion, was very closed in. It was like no one had ever heard of it. No one has ever came from it. The only person that's famous from it is Eddie Marsan, but he went to another drama school before or after, so he was already famous from that one, so he's the only famous alumni from the school, which kind of makes you think, like, sure, it's not about who gets famous from it, but it's nice to see that people actually become successful after going to a school and learning a technique, since this school has such a particular technique to learn. So yeah, it was a bit odd, but I felt like myself, and I'll say like most people, but myself would try and kind of block out that, like, that kind of thought of no one's really heard of this, no one's really went here, and some of the things aren't right or don't feel right about this school. So yeah, in the start of first year, when you first get there, it felt like the people were alien. Like, they were just so they wouldn't talk to you, they wouldn't smile, they were just like robots. Like, there was no emotion. And later on you find out there's some things in the theory, like, oh, you don't have to say hello or goodbye or thank you when someone holds the door open for you, but I thought, fuck that, because I'm not changing who I am as a person for an acting theory. But yeah, it felt like I didn't know if the people changed or I became one of the people, as much as I didn't want to, because then I myself didn't feel right when I attended there. I didn't know who I was. I felt like I'd lost who I was as a person. So basically the theory is the science of acting. So you find out that everyone has thoughts that affect what they do in life and can affect their acting or the choices they make. Basically, this theory was about those thoughts and how to finish them off so that they don't affect your acting, or so that you can then create characters and think about their thinking, which sounded amazing, like sounded like a really good theory to learn. Like, imagine that, like, going that far into it, that you learn about the characters thinking. But then it just felt like, so in the first year we had some lecturers that then left after the first term, and then lecturers that were at the school when Sam taught then came in and took over, and that's when everything changed. It felt like you were no longer finding out and being taught about this new crazy theory. You were then having the theory used against you. Like, again, I'm saying this is all my thoughts, my opinion, my experience. It might not have been the same for anyone else. It might have been the same for a few others. I don't know, I'm just saying that in my opinion, it felt like you then get the theory used against you, because in classes, most classes were like group therapy. You'd be sitting around in chairs and then they'd just go, "Oh, Rachel, your foot's sitting at a funny angle. Are you thinking about this? Is this a thought?" And they just go right in on you. They've just decided that day that you're going to be the person that they're going to go in on. So it got to the point where at first you'd tell them, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that." And they'd like store it in some sort of a bank or talk about it in the staff room and then use it against you later on if you were questioning something about something they were saying. They'd be like, "Oh, is it because you were thinking about this? Oh, is it because of your mum? Is it because of this?" And you're like, "Well, where did that come from?" "No, it's not anything to do with that." And they just be like, "Oh, you're just not wanting to think about that. It's, yeah, you need to go forth. It's you that's the problem." So there was a lot of things, I think, maybe reading the theory, the book about the theory, you could take what you get from it and use it in acting, which is fair. And there's a lot of things that I just didn't find right about it. There was a thing called belonging. It was, you're supposed to not belong with people, which is not like being a human. You've not to like speak to people, like talk to them, hang out, whatever. Like, you're not allowed to be a human. And a good example of this was actually in the first year when we moved into this flat. We moved into our new flat and we had a housewarming party and we invited everyone from the school, and we thought, wow, this would be great. We'll get to know all the year groups, find out about each other's experience and things. And everyone was like, yeah, at first. And then it got to the day, literally leaving the school to go to our flat to have the party, that everyone turned round and said, "Oh, actually, we can't go." And we were like, well, why? What happened? Like, what changed? And they were like, "Oh, no, we can't go. We can't belong with the first years. We can't belong with the first years because apparently there was some sort of party before and some second years had told first years about the theory or things like this, or there was people getting drunk in the theatre, stuff like that, and the school came down on them and people got suspended, people got taken off the directing course. So there was so much fear installed in the students now that they were like, we can't in our spare time come round and associate with the first years. And we were just taken aback. We were like, why couldn't you have at least said it in the first place, instead of leading us on until the day of it? And then, you know, eventually they did come round for a little bit to kind of appease us, but I was done by that point. Yeah, so that's an example of what belonging is, I guess. You're not allowed to do it. You weren't allowed to have TVs, which is funny because aren't you finding out about acting? Aren't you finding out about film, theatre, TV? How can you find out if you aren't allowed to watch films, if you aren't allowed to do any of these things? Eventually in the school, actually, they took away the Wi-Fi because they decided that we weren't allowed to use the Wi-Fi because we were using it for improper things like going on YouTube and looking at plays or looking at scenes when we should just be using the library, which is fair. Like, obviously reading's great, but there was a lot of things that we needed the computers to do, for example research, and they were just like, nope, library. There was also, well, speaking about that kind of thing, there was so much fear that evolved in that school. I think when the new lecturers took over, because it just got to the pure point where you could not trust anyone and you did not want to speak in class because it would be used against you, or it was every man for themselves. So occasions where someone else's thinking would get brought up, and then someone would talk about something and they'd be like, oh, but this person did that, and then it would go on to that, and it was just like, I would just get really petty, and there was just so much fear and manipulation that I just couldn't believe that I was going to a drama school. It felt like I was in a cult. Like, it felt like a cult. You weren't allowed to talk to people. Like, I couldn't phone home and tell people what was going on. If people asked me, oh, how's drama school? Like, I couldn't actually talk about it because I felt sick. I felt like I was lying to everyone. I hated it. I would wake up every morning crying at the thought of going, and would leave every evening crying at the thought of what just happened and there's more to come the next day. You became so tired because at first you were only in from, say, 8 till 5, your standard class times, and you could be in pieces if you wanted to. So there was directors and you could be in their pieces if you wanted to. If not, you could, like, it didn't matter at first. Then it got to the point of why aren't you in pieces? You have to be in pieces. If you aren't in pieces, you have to be in to help with setting up, taking down, cleaning, whatever. So you weren't physically able to work whilst you were at Cogan. We couldn't afford rent, we couldn't afford food, because once your SAS is gone, you had no time to work. You couldn't take on a job because you couldn't commit to the hours, because you were in 7 days a week. Saturdays they'd have you in, Sundays they'd have you in, and if you said, oh sorry I'm working, they'd say, what's the priority though? What's the priority? And you'd be like, yeah, obviously acting, I came here to do this, I don't want to be working. But when you're charging 11,000 a year, that's more than my SAS. When you are living in London, which is already expensive, you can't expect me to not be, like, to not work and still attend this school. You know, it's just ridiculous, some of the things they'd, like, we had to find a flat and we were running out of time because we couldn't go to flat viewings during the day because we're at Cogan. So we had to take off days, and we would just get shouted at for taking off days, for finding a flat. And we're literally at the point where, do you know what, if I can't get this day off to look for this flat, I can't come to this school. I can't give you the 11 grand because I have nowhere to sleep. I'm just gonna have to sleep on the floor in the school. Like, it was just such a stressful, isolating time of my life, and no one understood. No one understood it. It just spiraled so much. It went from being kind of weird to this is fucked up, this is a cult. They would film every class, but the lecturers wouldn't like to be filmed. Then they'd make you watch all the classes back to look at some thinking that you can't see. Like, I don't know how I'm coming across in this video because I can't edit it, so I'm trying to get it done in the one, but I just can't even put it into bullet points. There was just too much shit that happened. They just really so I'll talk about when I decided to leave the school, when I had enough. The school has 4 terms in it. There's no summer holidays. You get 2 weeks break at the end of every term, but you're supposed to stay in London near the school because they're going to put on rehearsals during that week. There was days, even when I went to the school, that you'd be there 7 in the morning till midnight and I wouldn't go home till 1, then you'd be back in at 7 till midnight, because after school you'd be forced to do all these different rehearsals for these shows, these director's pieces that you're in. On Saturdays, every term, once every term, they'd have a cleaning day where you'd have to go in for a day, pull apart the school and clean it. And it was like past the point of ridiculous. Like, obviously I know taking care of your school, like, that's great, like, obviously put your litter in the bin, tidy up after yourself, yep, that's what everyone should be doing. But to get the students to come in on a day when they should be working, like, they could be out working, bringing them in, telling them to pull out all the books in the library because we're going to put them all in alphabetical order, and we're going to dust, and we're going to clean the windows, and we're going to paint this and that, only for it to need done a month later. Like, this was literally the worst time of my life. When I decided to leave, it was during the 3rd term. So in this 3rd term we were doing our school play, which should be amazing. If you're doing a play, it should be so much fun. But by this point I'd been through this much that I hated acting. I hated it so much. Like, I did not give a fuck about the character. I did not give a fuck about what the character's cousin's goldfish's name was, and you had to go through all these facts with every single character in the play, that it took a year to analyse it, but only 2 weeks you got to actually learn your lines and put up the play and perform it to an actual audience. No wonder it was shit. Like, no wonder. When they're putting their efforts on the wrong thing. And it just got to the point where there was too many arguments with everyone in my head, and I just said to myself, on the last show, I'm leaving, I'm not coming back, this is it. So I took the bows. My mum was there, and that night I told her, this is the last time I'm going to be in Colgan. I took my stuff, I packed up, I left. So for the next few days I never said anything, and I got phone calls and I got emails asking me to go in. So I went into the school for my meeting, where basically I went in and told them, look, I'm feeling this way, I want to leave the school, I'm not happy. There's so much more I'm thinking now that I could be doing with my life rather than stuck here miserable. And they turned around and they said, oh, is it because your mum's down? Because you know that you weren't good in that play, that's not a point of reference for when you leave. And I was like, you know, yeah, I know I wasn't good in the play because I really lost the love I once felt for acting. That I don't care. They tried every excuse in the book to get me to stay. They wouldn't listen to me and say, they wouldn't hear me out that there's problems going on with this school, that the school lost their BA, lost their funding, had to move above a Tesco's because they couldn't afford the rent. They wouldn't listen to any of this clear problem and would just put the blame on me, going, oh, it's you. Clearly it's your thinking, and not the fact that the school's falling apart around me and something that's supposed to be stable, supposed to be teaching me how to act, how to do this thing I came here to learn, and it's failing right before me. Like, I put my trust in all these lecturers and they just turn around and manipulate and use your thinking against you, to the point where I didn't want to wake up in the morning because I knew I had to go to this school, and I knew it was going to be awful, and I knew it would cause arguments between me and Damien because I'm so unhappy and there's nothing that he could do about it. So then when I left, they wouldn't take no for an answer, and I just went, okay. walked out the school, took my yoga mat, never looked back. And it's funny because people that you go to uni and you think it's going to be the best years of your life, like you make friends that you're going to have for life. And it's funny how when I left, everyone in my class like turned their backs on me. Like all the people that I thought I became friends with all turned their backs on me. Now I'm not saying actually everyone, because there's a few that left as well that then we became friends. And it was actually better to get to know them outside of that establishment than where we were, because we were all miserable and all trying to cope. And you know, it's saying something about the school. Like, take what you want, this is my opinion, my experience, take what you want from it. But it's saying something when my year group started off with 20 and ended with 5. Like, it's saying something. It's saying something about how the school's only got about 20 people in it. It's not right. But you know, I'm okay now. I've learned that that was an experience, and I learned things and I became stronger as a person. I learned how to cope. I learned how to deal with situations a lot better. I've learned that, you know what? You can act as free as you want. Like, acting's been a passion and it always will be. And I found it again. I found how to be creative again. I made friends. I learned how to be happy again. I guess. Yeah. I don't know what this video is really. Like, it is my opinion, my thoughts, everything, my experience. I don't know how it'll come across to you watching. I don't know. I know there's people out there that maybe felt the same way, and I know if I get any thumbs down on the video that I know exactly what drama school those people are that give it a thumbs down, but I don't care. I spent so long keeping this to myself, and people didn't understand or didn't understand why I would leave a drama school, like what happened. And it's not because I couldn't cope with drama school, which those lecturers would probably have you believe. It's because no one could cope with what those lecturers were doing to them emotionally, physically. Like, it was draining. It was a draining time of my life, but now I'm looking positive. Now I'm looking up, like, upwards and onwards. There's more to life than what happened in those 9 months, and one day I'll look back and I won't feel so scared, I won't feel so emotional about it, and it'll just be a memory and an experience that made me stronger. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions that maybe I didn't answer, because I don't know if I've made all my points, please let me know in the comments or DM me if you want to know anything else. But yeah, I hope I made sense and I didn't just ramble on. But yeah, so thanks for watching.